think that last caller was kind of a secret anti-Semite.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he was spreading a lot of like Hamas propaganda. You were just kind of letting it happen.
About Israel?
Yeah.
Like what? Would you like to push back on?
Why, dude, why would you ever hop onto MrGirl's like call-ins to talk about Israel versus Palestine? Is there any place in the world where we are safe from this talk? I hate Israel. If I want to watch MrGirl, I'm watching because he is autistic, because he is evil, and because he's generally a more interesting person than the average person. So I don't what stop I'm not here to listen to MrGirl talk about Israel versus Palestine. Just oh my god, stop.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I don't think the starvation is nearly as bad as most people think. Like in the Holocaust, you see these images of actual massive groups of starving kids and people who look like skeletons, and that's just no, those images don't really exist. Like there are several images of kids who have like medical conditions who look skeletal, but like a lot of those have been disproven.
Are you conceding that there is starvation happening?
I think that, well, there's probably logistical issues with some people not getting as much food as they want, but like you don't see image.
Is this just a Destiny chatter? Is this just a DEGer who has been there for the entirety of the Destiny research arc on Israel versus Palestine? And then this person didn't call in to like be angry at MrGirl, but instead called in to like recite shit from Destiny.
Of
Like,
actually people that look starving.
oh man.
Do you not want to answer my question?
Oh, could you repeat it?
Do you concede that there is starvation occurring?
I can see that there's starvation occurring in
You never see fat Palestinians? True. And that is why, and that is why they are healthier than Americans.
probably every
Boom.
country.
Do you concede that there is intentional blocking of access to food for Gaza by Israel?
Well, yeah, of course, because a lot of the Israeli opinion is that a lot of these organizations were allowing the food to be taken by Hamas and sold in like the illegal reselling markets. So they were trying to send the food with their own humanitarian foundation, which the UN was not working with.
Okay, so you concede that Israel is intentionally starving Gaza, but you're saying that because the kids in Gaza are not as skinny as the Holocaust survivors, therefore it's my
Intentionally, so my question is this: intentionally starving, or it's rather that Hamas constantly steals supplies and raids international aid trucks forcibly and in order as an attempt to starve the the Palestinian people, because Palestine has to be one of the most like has to be one of the biggest targets right now in terms of receiving aid and receiving charity shit. If I was Hamas, I would want to go after these international aid trucks and hoard all the supplies for myself so then I'm able to have the leverage over the Palestinian people, right? If you are loyal to Hamas, then we're going to allow you to have food. If you're not loyal, we're going to let you starve, right? Like if I was Hamas, I would probably be doing something like that. So the question is Israel making them starve on purpose as a purpose of ethnic cleansing and genocide? Or is it or is it because Israel does allow aid through all the time, which is objectively true, by the way. Like it's up to Israel whether or not they allow international aid to come through, which they do all the time, right? Or and it's just Hamas just basically coming in, swooping in, and like being bandits, like genuinely just being bandits. Like what? Yeah, okay, not all the time. Yeah, I agree with that. Not all the time, right? But yeah, I don't know. They're definitely receiving all of their aid and are probably the healthiest group of people like in the world. They're also the most literate in the Middle East. The most literate. You have to be a pretty advanced country to be the most literate in the Middle East. Like that's just yeah. They have genuine colleges and schools. Like they are a country, regardless of whether or not like it's not. It's I think it's racism to assume that Palestinians are just a bunch of like unkempt brown people that is in need of help and saving, right? Um, I think the entire pro-Palestinian shit is like just a nonstop, a nonstop need to be a white savior. I think that's what's actually going on. Is that people want to be a white savior, so what they do is they project that white savior complex onto IVP as an issue overall, and they ignore all the nuances or what Palestine actually looks like, or the Gaza Strip or the West Bank actually look like. Yeah, I don't know. This is like all of this shit is incredibly condescending, in my opinion. But yeah, turn Streamlabs donuts back on. Did you cares about their first and last? No, I don't. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't. I don't want to do that. I may not be Palestinian ethnicity, but where I live, I'm a Palestinian in soul. Okay, thank you. Wow, thanks. They sound like a troll. Okay, stop. Whenever somebody says, "Oh, they sound like a troll," stop. You have no idea. Okay, in all the time I have been here on the internet, you have no idea how many genuinely dumb people there are. Okay, people underestimate how some people just hold exactly beliefs like this. Because trust me, they exist. It's a thing. And
Saying
yeah, I'm
that is
sorry to let
overblown.
you know about it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
I mean,
I don't find
dude,
this
if you look at the
argument.
statistics, there's literally been enough food shipped in over the course of the whole war that there should be an excess of food still in Gaza. And
Well,
obviously,
we don't need to. Now that you've conceded that they're intentionally starving Gazans, we don't need to talk about that.
I mean, I only concede they're intentionally starving Gazans by the fact that they are not willing to work with these organizations that give the food to Hamas. Like, they don't want to fund Hamas. Hamas sells this food to fund their terrorist operations.
The
Hamas also hides all the guns and arms shipments into the tunnels because that's safe from the IDF attacks. But do you know what they don't hide in the tunnels? People. They don't hide people in the tunnels. They don't allow the Palestinian people to seek shelter in their tunnels, even though they are safe in the tunnels, or they would be safe in the tunnels. It's like it's pretty diabolical shit. Okay, closing off refuges and not letting people hide there or anything like that. They don't actually care about the Palestinian people. They actively want to subject the people to IDF attacks by tricking them, by having them die on purpose to IDF attacks, so that they are able to have a stranglehold over propaganda and the public narrative. Yeah.
narrative behind intentionally starving Gazans is irrelevant to my assessment of it as being genocide.
By the way, I just want to say the leaders of Hamas are hiding in Qatar, where they are able to just live out their lives in luxury. Thank God that they are dead. But they were billionaires. They were immensely rich. They were immensely wealthy. Yeah.
Genocidal.
I'm sorry.
So let's. So
Every genocider always has a fucking story. You know, there's always some story, but so you kind of have.
Every anti-Semite has a story.
No offense, but your take is like 2 years old. Why? Why is it 2 years? Hamas leadership got destroyed. Yeah, that's what I said. I said they're dead now. That's what I said. That's literally what I said.
I guess.
What?
Do you think? I assume you don't think I'm an anti-Semite.
No, I don't think you're an anti-Semite.
Okay.
I just think you don't know the facts. I think that you're like kind of haven't looked into it, so you're just kind of buying into the mainstream narratives.
Except the facts that my label of genocide is contingent on are not. You're not even disputing them. You're just more explaining them.
Well, I think that Israel is. Well, the thing is, they have a condition where they would allow war food in, which is if the UN would work with their own humanitarian foundation. So that's an option. It's just that these other organizations like the UN are refusing to work with the GHF. I believe that's the acronym.
Even whatever their position or beliefs or desires are, it's irrelevant to me in my assessment, especially the UN. I'm not like, oh, the fucking unreasonable UN and their bullshit. Like, I am inclined to side with the narrative of the UN over Israel, or really over any single country.
The thing about the UN is that it's really just it's a coalition of countries, and these countries have their own domestic politics, which most of them are very pro-Palestinian, anti-Israeli. So just because like this collection of world leaders is anti-Israel and pro-Palestinian doesn't really give them doesn't make it more correct. I feel like it's just a kind of like an appeal to expertise or.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert, so if you're asking me, do you want to believe the country's definitionally self-interested explanation for why they're doing this, or do you want to believe this coalition of, I think, mostly democratic countries? I'm going to, by default, agree with the coalition. And then if your explanation for why the coalition is saying this is it's just because all the people who live in those countries believe this, and they're trying to appeal to the masses, that still doesn't really harm the credibility of the reports and resolutions.
Does it though? If the whole world is, like, let's say theoretically the whole world is anti-Semitic, like in the 1930s or 20s, everybody's kind of in unison about how the Jews are an issue. Does that make it a true opinion, a true fact?
I don't think you can have a true opinion. So the question's more like, is it a lens I want to adopt
Why does the caller sound like Dean Withers? Plot twist, it is Dean Withers.
myself? And so the lens here is intentionally starving people is bad, almost regardless of why you're doing it. But yeah, I feel like that's a trick question where you can have a true opinion. I don't think that makes sense.
No, I think that you're right. I think I kind of misspoke there, but
okay.
They are willing to feed the Gazans, though. They're just not willing to work with these organizations. The thing is, the whole point is that they want
they're saying that. I understand that they have a defensible, plausibly deniable, they've erected plausible deniability around this decision, and that there is a even just the way you're talking about it sounds like propaganda, where you're like, no, well, there's a reason. You don't know this. There's a reason for this. And like, if you just like step back and zoom out, and you're like, well, let's assume everything everyone is saying about what they are doing could be a lie, and you just look at their actions. That's
But also, there's so many other factors that point towards Israel and Israelis doing like everything they can to preserve and not kill like innocent civilians. Like, it just doesn't seem like they'd be intentionally starving them unless there was a good reason.
Okay, but that's kind of circular.
Okay.
Yeah.
Israel would never do this.
Okay, all right.
To terrorist death ratio is.
Like, I'll wear T-shirts that say
I hate IVP.
Where the government lies, and liars, but then you still
are they still talking about it?
Kind of just go along with it. So Israel doesn't really need
that
many of them have some story.
I think it's okay to be happy that he died.
Oh my god. Can we not?
Was angry. It's more just like
There's so many more interesting subjects that you can bring up to MrGirl. It's crazy to me that someone has an opportunity to speak to MrGirl, and the first thing that you think of is, well, I'm going to talk to him about Israel versus Palestine. Oh my god. What is wrong with you, dude?
Bribes. Judge said it was a slur. And I was like, a high court judge.
I don't trust the guy who sits in the dark with 2 LED lights to make him 2 shades of color. That's literally what I do, bro. I have 2 lights, otherwise I would be in the dark. The 2 lights are just stronger than MrGirl's lights. That's literally it.
Like, a high court judge, and like they just kept like saying high court judge, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, do you guys?
I'm talking about MrGirl, yeah, but that also applies to me, like quite literally.
It's like, respect your judiciary. Felt like a very weird culture clash. The Supreme Court has no backbone. That's right. We make things sound like slurs just for the
Thank you, Mr. Girl. Skip the real doll, go straight to trying to convert him. Mr. Girl moderates. Present Sunday versus Wicked Supreme.
I'm gonna give you guys the same rules I give Shaylin.
Your lighting is better though, way better. No, but like you have to understand that he's going for a specific aesthetic, right? If that makes sense. It feels as though I'm looking at the patch notes. It feels as though he's going for a specific aesthetic. Like both work, but it's just that we are going for different things, right? Like we're not going for the same thing.
Gonna run a tight ship. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be uncomfortable. But yeah, so what I noticed
You
last
should work
time,
on that, by the way. It's not that cool, dude.
well, yeah, maybe if I can moderate my.
Wait, what? Why? Oh, when was this? I have to assume that this was not recent, right? I have to assume this was not recent. Yeah? No way. There's no way this is recent.
Panels like I handle my relationship and treat my girlfriend the way I treat my panels, my life would be better.
Oh, originally recorded September 2022. Oh, shit. Wait, was this significant in some way?
Okay, so we're gonna how do I put this? Okay, I want this to be productive. And so first I want to start with a little meta conversation about exactly what we're doing. But I am gonna be calling I'm gonna be calling I don't even know
But Max, we did agree. We did agree, and you agreed on 5-minute opening statements.
Yes, and I'm going to make mine right now. No, you'll have a chance to do your 5-minute opening statement, but first we have to establish this is a pre-debate meta conversation. So when I watched your last debate, I noticed a lot of barbed comments. Now, I'm against
the nature of opening statements is their opening.
I'm against the UFC. Okay, I'm against football. I think it's unethical to pay homeless people to fight each other in the street, film it, and put it on YouTube. And to that effect, there is a limit to the amount of abuse, even if you are both consenting, that I will allow each of you to dole out. But given that, how friendly do you guys want this to be? Do we want this to be a good faith exchange of ideas, or do you want to insult each other like children on a playground and see who can make the other cry first?
I want to have a productive conversation. However, it does bear mentioning that it was Wicked Supreme's choice that we were discussing whether or not he is a grifter, so that should be off the table.
What is this? Is the conversation about whether or not he's a grifter? Okay.
As you consider
absolutely
insults.
Sure, that's that. The core argument can be that he's a grifter. But that said, along the way, I would ask you guys to refrain from calling each other stupid, implying that the other is stupid, implying that the other is bad faith or lying or whatever. Like if you want to say, hey, I don't believe that you are saying that, or I don't believe you believe that, that's fine. But the underhanded sniping or the overhanded sniping, I think we should avoid. Supreme, what do you think?
I'm happy to weather all insults. I don't care. And I try to direct my insults towards conduct. I'm not necessarily for barring all insults, but whatever. If that's what we want to do, I'm okay abiding by that. But what I want is a substantive conversation. But we're doing a show for an audience as well, and something that can be fun. Sure. If President Sunday says, that's fine, I can weather.
Man, it's kind of crazy to me how much people change over the years. MrGirl, I think he's doing a little bit better now, but MrGirl, after the Destiny drama, he was just straight up traumatized. He was just constantly just completely out of it. He was depressed, he was going through it, he was just generally not doing well. Mentally speaking, I'm talking about mentally speaking. Wicked Supreme, this guy, has completely flew off the rails. Now he's a full-blown anti-fan, okay? Like a fully blown, Jesus, that sounds weird. A full-blown Destiny anti-fan. He has just completely gone off the rails, and he has completely embraced his J-Stuck side, which is depressing. I think Present Sunday is still the same. He's still like a pathetic loser who actively dislikes me and actively dislikes anything associated with Destiny, and actively, in my opinion, an egotistical grifter. But yeah, I think Present Sunday is the only constant in this entire panel, but these two have both turned to the worst. of themselves. Like they turn into the worst versions. Except MrGirl is now a little bit better now, I think. But yeah. All Destiny ops. This is a real judge me by my enemies moment. Yeah, like all Destiny ops tend to just crash out and become irrelevant. And yeah. Because after Destiny stops giving these people attention, nobody pays attention to them anymore. And this is my fear, is that after I betray Destiny, inevitably, I will no longer have an audience. After I betray Destiny.
This is the dankest dungeon.
That too, then
What? Hello?
Truly, this is the dankest
Stop.
dungeon.
Stop. What are you doing? Did you just donate 100 subs? Or is it 50 subs? Is it 50 subs or 100 subs? Bro. 50? Thank you. Wait, dude. Why? Why did you give me so much? Why did you give me so much? Why are you trying to support me so hard? I don't understand.
Truly, this is the dankest dungeon.
Velvet, thank you so much for the give this up. Dude. Why? But why? Because I finally got back into my PC. Yeah, but you already donated. You already donated like 25 subs. What? Jesus. All the Oilers. Yeah, and they're all different Oilers too. Like, I have multiple Oilers. Dude. It doesn't matter. Okay, alright. I'm not crying. No, now you have got... No, I'm not gonna fucking cry. Bro. I, like, legitimately, in this entire space, I have never seen donations like this before for somebody my size. Never. I've only seen donations this size that is common for people like Ab and Preach. Like, for their live streams of like 10,000 to 12,000 people. I've just never seen any big whaling like this for smaller content creators. I don't know, like, this is just crazy to me, but... thank you. It's an investment, yeah, sure. I saw you being aware of how everyone uses Destiny as a pile of clothes to crawl over and made a joke about it. Well, not necessarily, you don't know.
now we can make it a little fun too.
Okay,
I'm
well,
with
so
that.
now you're putting him in a jam.
I'm pretty sure I have some time to make up for it. You don't have to make up anything. Like, you're fine.
Or if he says he doesn't want to do it, he's saying, I can't.
Eyes too dry to cry. I've always been someone who... Like, I wish I had the ability to cry. Shout out to fintech salary, financial technology salary. Oh yeah, I would assume that pays a lot. Yes, if you're handling, like, I'm assuming that you are, I'm assuming that you're talking about programming, like, stuff for Chase, right, or for other banking systems. I would assume that does pay a lot, right? Yeah, but thank you. Holy shit.
Weather that. But I think there's plenty of other valid reasons he would say no to the proposal that you trade underhanded
Listen, okay? Asian sister supporting Asian sister, okay? ABG's got to look out for one another, okay? Thank you.
barbs other than not being able to weather it. So Sunday.
Can I be brutally honest with you? I zoned out for a quick second.
I think I stopped crying at some point as a kid because my parents constantly made fun of me for crying or some shit. Like, at some point, I don't know, like, I was just bullied into never crying anymore. And then because they're like, oh, you have to man up. And then now I've lost the ability to cry.